Hi, this is Dee. I've got this new girl in. I've shown a few pictures of her. This is the new Neapolitan Ice Cream color that I had done, and she turned out really pretty. I'm really excited about this. It's probably hard to see in the video, the real detail in the color, but she's got real pale, subtle pops of pink mixed in with a nice light neutral brown and also blonde highlights. So they're very small, not big, chunky, thick highlights, but they're subtle. They're just really pretty. It turned out to be a super pretty blend. I love it. Um, I have not actually tried this on yet. I'll probably try her on after I get her curled. I want to see how she looks on me because I kind of want one of these for myself too. But I'll be probably listing this one for sale, as I said I would on the website. I showed pictures of her air dried. This is just how she air dries wavy. But I wanted to curl her and style her and see how she looks, because when you curl, usually the highlights and lowlights really pop and look really cool. So I want to see. I'll be tempted to keep her for myself because she's really pretty, but I just wanted to get her curled today for more pictures for the website, so I thought I would just curl her on video. I'm using my Lange air styler. That's why it's kind of noisy. Hopefully it's not too noisy on the video. But I'm just gonna, actually I did this wrong way. I normally hold it upside down, but I'm just gonna do some quick, pretty little twisty barrel curls in her with this. I just go kind of slow and pull it down. See how nice it just curls. It just makes such a nice curl. Um, so it's hard to do this on camera because normally I just move my tripod around where I need it as I'm going. I'm trying to make sure you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I'm just taking, small-ish sections, not too small. I'm not going for a super tight curl. So I'd say about, 1 to 2 inch sections. Um, it's probably hard to see what I'm doing on this side, but oh, there's a pretty curl. So I'm just going to keep going with 1 to 2 inch or so sections. I I do it kind of backwards. I know some people section out the hair and clip up the top part and do the underside first, but I'm impatient and like to see what it's going to look like, so I start with the top sections and then I go underneath and do some of the under sections later and fill in where it still needs curls. Um, I've got this on my styling mannequin that I use because she's got a soft head that you can put pins in, so I've got a couple of ball pins to keep her in place so she doesn't slide off while I'm curling. And I really like this Lange air styler. I held off buying one for a long time because, they're not cheap. I mean, for me, a $89 curling iron seems kind of expensive, but they went on sale. I think I got this one on Amazon for like $65 or so. So I finally decided to break down and buy one, and I'm glad I did. I really like it. I wasn't sure if it was really, worth the extra money and all the hype, but I've seen a lot of people using them and saying they work great and on their wigs. So I finally broke down and got one, and I do not regret it. I really like this thing. It makes nice, smooth, gentle curls. It's easy to use. It glides really smoothly through the hair. The metal plates in there are really smooth. It's kind of like a flat iron, but the outside is rounded, so you kind of use it to make curls. You can use it to flat iron and straighten the hair too, but I don't use it like that. I use it for curling, and you just kind of, do a twisting motion as you pull it down, twist it in the direction you want the curl to go, and they just turn out nice. And the air that you hear, coming through the little holes as the plates are heating the hair and curling it, the air is kind of cooling it down, so it kind of helps set the curl, and I guess makes it smoother, makes the hair smoother as it's curling. Um, but it's just pretty simple and easy to use, and it's worked really nice for me so far, so I like it. I just kind of keep taking sections and keep kind of turning my tripod where I need it. Make sure that cord doesn't get wrapped around the tripod. But it does have a swivel cord, which helps too. I just go slow and kind of pull it down as I'm twisting away from the face. Then once I get the top layer of curls done, I start reaching underneath and doing some of those under sections and fill in wherever it looks like it needs a curl. Sometimes I just do a partial curl. I'll just curl a few in the top, layer and leave the underside just naturally wavy, but it depends on what look I'm going for and what mood I'm in, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and give this girl a full curling because I want to see what these colors look like. And I can already tell they look really cool. I love noticeable lowlights in hair. And when you curl them, it really brings out the lowlights and highlights and the little streaks and makes them pop and makes the hair look even more dimensional and really interesting. And this is a super unique color. This is the first one I've done like this. I didn't do this myself. I had this color created for me, custom. And honestly, the first time I had them try it, they didn't get anywhere close to what I wanted. So I had them try again. And this time they nailed it. They really, really did good for me. It's exactly what I had in mind. So I will be adding this color to my regular budget line so people can order this color in any of the wigs or lengths, like if you wanted it on a Danica bob or any of the budget wigs. The only thing is, to be honest and upfront, this is a new color. Like I said, the first time they didn't get it right. This time they nailed it. So hopefully I'll be able to continue to order more of this color. If somebody buys this one and someone else wants one, hopefully the next time they'll be able to duplicate this color again, so it will look like this and they'll do it right. But sometimes it can take them a couple of tries when it's a new color that they're not used to doing, and I come up with some crazy combo and ask them to do. It's new to them, so it can take a little practice and a few tries to really get it right and get consistent with it. So I can't guarantee or promise that the next one will come exactly like this, but it should be pretty close and similar. That's the thing with human hair wigs. Even when they're factory colored, they're still being done by humans. So, just because it's, factory dyed doesn't mean they're all going to be like exactly alike. They aren't synthetic wigs that are being mass produced by machines in big factories. They're still made by humans in the factories. So, they're hand tying in all the hair on the top lace. and then they're, sewing the hair on the wefts to do the back of the cap. So, it depends on who's working in the factory that day. Some workers might be a little better at duplicating a color than others, or it's kind of the luck of the draw. Um, so with human hair wigs, no matter where you're buying or what brand or what factories they're using, there's always going to be slight variances from one wig to another. There's just no way humanly possible to guarantee each one is going to be exact, Um, so there'll be, slight color variations, or maybe the highlights on one will be a little thicker than another, or some will be a little thinner, or, the placement may be slightly different, but in general, they should be fairly consistent. The colors should be, the same colors, um, and they should be pretty close and similar. So, that's not a bad thing. That kind of makes each one a little bit unique and kind of one of a kind. So it's always a good idea if I get a new color like this made and this one turned out really cool, and you see this and really like this exact color. If it's your size, this one is a medium cap. I usually order most things in a medium to start with. Occasionally I'll get in a small cap because I'm noticing more and more people need a small cap, but generally I get most things in a medium. But if it's your size and it's going to fit and you really like it, then it's a good idea to snag the one I have on hand in stock if you want that exact, because the next one could be just slightly different. The highlights might be a teeny bit thicker or a teeny bit thinner, or they're all unique, which I kind of like. I mean, I think that's kind of cool that each one ends up being kind of a one of a kind, and your wig won't be exactly like anyone else's. Even if someone else orders that same color, theirs is going to be just slightly different than yours. So they won't look cookie cutter, They're all hand done. Not meaning hand painted like salon dyes. That's a little different. With factory colors, a lot of people don't know how they do that. They pre-color the batches of hair. So they actually color, like they'll color some of the pink hair, and then they'll color the brown and the blonde, and they have these batches uh, of hair to draw from, and then they assemble the wig and put the hair on the wig. So they'll take some of the pink and the blonde and the brown, and the people that do the hand tying on the lace, the ventilating, they do the hand tied tops. And then, somebody else is sewing the pink, brown, and blonde hair on wefts that then get sewn onto the cap, and then the whole thing's assembled. So that's why you never see staining on the inside of the caps on these factory colored wigs, because they're not they're not just taking a wig that's, say, all blonde hair and then hand painting all the colors on like you would in a salon. They're pre-coloring the hair first and then putting it on the wig. So there's never any staining inside of the cap, or no staining on your lace. And so that's kind of a nice feature, actually. I like that about factory colors. The other nice thing about factory colors is that they don't fade like salon dyes. So they're usually longer lasting. Now, that depends on the actual color too. On like darker colored wigs, well, this one's not dyed. This is a natural Brazilian diva hair. But if this were dyed dark brown, factory dyed, it's not going to fade. It's not going to fade out and need a color refresh in a few months or anything. They're like permanent dyes. So, you're not going to have the sun fading or fading from products you use, or oxidization. But But certain colors are more prone to fading. Reds, which includes pinks, can fade faster. Even when they're permanent or factory dyes, they can still fade faster because red dyes, the molecule is bigger and it doesn't really, stick or absorb into the hair like other color molecules. So that's why a lot of times red or pink wigs tend to fade faster. It's just the nature of that color and that kind of dye. But other, certain colors, most of them won't fade either at all or not for a long time. So that's the other nice thing about factory colors. I like that they're long lasting. And, if you really like the color of your wig that you get, you're not going to have to worry about having to send it somewhere and pay $200 to $300 for a recolor in a few months or every few months. So, they last. Now blondes, super light blondes especially, even factory dyed ones, can oxidize somewhat depending on the conditions they're in. If you have hard water, if they're exposed to chlorine like pool water, a lot of sunlight, or things like that, products and stuff, even heat from styling tools can eventually slightly change the color of blonde, and maybe it'll kind of get a little more brassy or warm tone over time. That can happen even with factory dyed wigs, but that's easy to fix with blonde wigs with a good purple shampoo. If you do it right and you use the right purple shampoo, make sure it's a sulfate-free one. There's a lot of people say, oh, don't use purple shampoo, it dries out your hair, and that's not really true. It just depends on the ingredients in the shampoo. So if you use a good sulfate-free purple shampoo, it's not going to dry out or damage the hair. But you do have to do it carefully. You have to, disperse the shampoo in your bucket of water, make sure it's mixed thoroughly. And then you're going to dunk the wig and make sure it's fully saturated, and then pull it up and, wring it out, look at the color, and, dunk it again, just a few seconds, pull it up and keep looking at it until you start to see the yellow or brassiness go away and see the color brighten again. And as soon as it's bright enough and the brass has gone away and you're happy with it, pull it out and rinse it right away. You never want to just, dunk your blonde wig in the purple shampoo water and then walk away and go have lunch or something, because you'll come back with a lavender wig if you let it soak too long. So timing is everything with purple shampoo. Just dunk, check, dunk, check. Keep dunking and checking until it looks right, and then rinse it immediately. And then you're good. And you don't have to use the purple conditioner after that. The shampoo is enough. Once you get the color brightened up where you want it, then you're good, And then the next time it gets brassy again, you just do it again. So it's really easy, not a big deal. But anyway, I'm off subject here. She is all curled. And I don't know how well you can see the pink pops, but she's really pretty. I love her. There's a little more pink right in the front, which I love. I'm going to go ahead and kind of give her just a gentle comb through. Let's see how these curls comb out. Look, oh, that's pretty. Hopefully you can hear me okay, or I'm not too loud, because I'm actually wearing a clip-on microphone for a change. Normally when I talk on videos, my voice is too quiet and gentle, and people always say they have a hard time hearing me, so I clipped my little mic on today. And here's how the curls look combed out. Look at that, she's so pretty. I love this. And I'm usually not a blonde, as you can tell. I normally wear dark brown hair. This is my natural color. I mean, this is a wig. This is a diva wig. But this used to be my natural color before I went gray. So I've always felt weird wearing blonde wigs. I feel like it looks odd on me because, it's just not my normal color. But there are certain blondes I can wear and love. And this is one I think I could do. In fact, Let me see. Let me pull out the little pins so I could take her. Where'd that pin go? There it is. Oops, dropped my pin. I like, yeah, these soft mannequin heads with a face. I like the face instead of a canvas head because then you can, put the hairline where it needs to be. You kind of have a face and, for reference. And I like the little ball pins with the little ball on the end because they're easier to see and grab a hold of with my fingernails. So I'm going to actually take the time. I know this video is getting long. It's already 20 minutes, so I hope you're not bored watching, and my lighting is kind of funky in here, but I'm going to take off my wig and I'm going to go ahead and try this girl on because I'm dying to see what this color looks like on me. And I know a lot of my customers always say that they like to see a wig on an actual person instead of just on a mannequin. So, of course, I haven't cut the lace. It's going to have all that long lace hanging over my eyebrows, but I'll give you an idea. So when I put these on, I dig that nape comb up under my wig grip and my ponytail in the back. And let's see, this one, I believe this one doesn't have ear tabs. This is a regular 13 by 6. So, oops. So that's going to look funky with the lace. It's kind of a lot of lace to try to tuck in or tuck under, but take my glasses off here and see how this looks now. I'm going to turn off my overhead ceiling fan light because sometimes that makes colors look funky in here. My lighting can be weird and hard to work with. That overhead ceiling fan light kind of makes things look warmer or yellow more than they really are in person. But ooh, I'll get up close and see the really pale pretty pink, especially more so in the front. They really did good with, I wanted extra pink in the front so it's, noticeable. I mean, if you're going to wear a wig with pink, you want the pink to show, right? But it's still subtle and pale, so it's really pretty and gentle. It's not a screaming like, holy cow, pink wig. You're not going to see holy cow pink from, across the room. But when you get up close, it's really pretty, very gentle and subtle. And with these, the Budget Babes wigs, they're naturally wavy, Remy Brazilian texture hair. So it does have, some natural frizzies to it, which I like myself. I don't mind because it's a lot like my bio hair used to be when I was younger, and it lends to the realism. Because, most people's bio hair isn't like perfectly silky with no frizzy at all and no flyaways. That's not realistic. So these are very realistic. And most of these, it's single drawn hair, like most wigs on the market. So it does kind of get a little thinner at the ends and taper down in the back, which I like that look myself. I've always liked to have my hair cut in kind of a slight taper in the back. I think it just looks natural. I've never been much of a blunt cut girl though. But lighter colors, especially like the really light platinum blondes or really pale color like this, can tend to have like a little more frizzy than the darker colors, just because to get this light of a color, they have to bleach the hair a lot more. So the more you bleach or process hair, of course, the more it's gonna dry it out. Bleach damages hair. There's just no way around that. There's no denying it. And some factories are better at that than others, and they take steps and use certain products to try to avoid as much damage as possible and keep the hair nice and soft. But no matter how good a quality of hair you're starting with and how good a bleach you use or how good your techniques are, there's no avoiding bleach damages hair. So, you have to use good products, good conditioners, and treat it right to, keep it moisturized and good humectants so the hair doesn't get dried out, because the drier it gets, the frizzier it can get and can eventually cause breakage and stuff, which you don't want. So, but all in all though, for being such a light color, I don't think this looks like horribly frizzy. I think it turned out really nice and natural, and I think this is pretty. I think I could pull off this color maybe. It's my eyebrows are dark, but that's okay. It doesn't have much of a root. It's a very, very light shadow root. Very realistic. The knots are not bleached, but the knots are very light and they're small, so it's really not a problem. Not a big deal at all. And the hairlines are nice on these. They're pretty realistic. Oops. You can kind of see you're not going to have to worry about knots and people noticing or anything. That looks really natural. So yeah, I like this. I could totally rock this, especially in the summer with a tan. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this. And oh, it's gonna look pretty like pulled back too. And it really like shows some of the highlights. And this one in particular, this is 130 density, which is the lighter density. Something to just be aware of on 130 density on the budget wigs, it's a wefted cap. So, you have to be careful to style it, with a little volume and body, and, watch, because on a really light density, if you've got a wefted cap, there is always a chance that, if the wind blows like crazy, if you're out in the wind or you lay up against something and the hair separates and kind of splits in the back and the heat of your head sticks it that way, you could, risk seeing some wefts through on a light density. So I am actually going to start ordering more in the 150 density. I'm even thinking about changing my 130s to a little bit thicker version, a little fuller 140, and then making the fuller version like 160. But this one in particular does have a very light colored cap. And let's see what color. Now see, this one does have, the top of the wefts, like the tracks, are sewn with like a brown thread. So, if that split apart too much, of course, it's got enough hair to cover really, but just be aware, that those could show if it blows around or you're not careful with it. So if you like a really light density that's not too heavy and too much hair, this is nice. The other option would be to go with a fully hand-tied cap that has no wefts. So if you want a light, thin density, really cool, not heavy, but you don't want to risk any wefts showing, then a fully hand-tied stretch cap would be the way to go, which I should be able to have those soon in the budget line. I'm working on those, just trying to get the size of the sizing on those caps right. But this one will be listed up for sale soon on the site. She's very pretty. And again, it's the Neapolitan Ice Cream color. And I'll be measuring her and putting her in the right length category. So she'll be up for sale soon. And if you're interested in ordering this color in a different length or density or cap style, you can always contact me and let me know, because that's still an option. So thanks for watching. Bye.